Hi, I'm Neil from Garland Technology, and I'd like to spend just a few minutes of your time today speaking to you about the importance of full visibility into your network. Garland are a network tap manufacturer. We've been a private company now for over 11 years, and I would say we have the most extensive range of taps of any manufacturer anywhere. We're the leader in critical infrastructure visibility. There's no doubt that we are used by manufacturers, by companies worldwide in multiple industries. What do I mean by your critical infrastructure? Well, if I think about it today, my enterprise IT network is a critical infrastructure. There are many different stakeholders in my network. There are many people doing different things, and that is critical to my day-to-day business and the way work is running every single day, the way my company works. When I look back, you look through the day that gets on. I'm sure all of us have children. Some of us have grandchildren. We're up, we get washed, we drink water. Well, all that water is coming from a water treatment plant. That water treatment plant is also incredibly important and critical into my day-to-day infrastructure. Electricity. We expect and we accept electricity is there all the time. I live very rurally, and I can assure you that when electricity isn't there, it's very annoying. But that electricity provider, that electricity generator is part of the critical infrastructure of our day-to-day life that we've come to expect. I'm sure many of you woke up this morning and decided you needed 2 paracetamols for a headache. A lot of us take regular drugs daily. Those drug manufacturers, those people are also part of our day-to-day critical infrastructure. Now, I've been traveling now for the last just over 2 weeks. I've checked my email, carried on with my work on my phone. And a lot of us do that all the time. I'm sure some of you are walking around this show on your phone. Some of you are probably even half looking at this, reading your mail at the same time. That becomes very critical into how we work day to day and how we're getting on with our day-to-day business. Unfortunately, there are always people around that want to make this more complicated for us, more difficult for us, and want to make our life more and more challenging. So can you imagine the life that those people moved into the electricity, changed the electricity, made it more erratic? No internet access. Internet has become very critical for all of our lives. No internet access can be incredibly frustrating at just one period of time. As an example, yesterday, I had 15 minutes to change from plane to plane in an airport. You turn your phone on, no internet access. By the time it's done, that's the one moment that you want to be able to get to and see where your next departure gate is, and there is no internet access just for that period of time. That is incredibly frustrating. And this could get much worse, and can be much worse. Can you look at all of those different things and how our day-to-day life works and how these things could all be affected if there's no problem with those infrastructures? Well, we are lucky. There are no end of security tools, and there are no end of monitoring devices that sign up and say, we'll give you 24/7, 365 days a year protection. And that's a very honorable thing to do. So we are fortunate in many ways that these things already exist and are there to help us. However, cybersecurity is much more than that, isn't it? Those tools are only as good as the information that can be provided to them. So we're all part of one big jigsaw puzzle to join together. And the only way that those tools can be that useful is to have complete visibility into any part of your network. So Irrespective of your network, irrespective of how you use it, we need 100% visibility into all corners of those network infrastructures. And the only way to do that is to see the network packet. There is only one single source of truth within a network, and that is the packet. And the only 100% way to do that is a network tap. And network taps can be hardware devices like this that mirror traffic to another location, that are totally passive, invisible in the network. Or they could also be a software device that sits inside your system cluster to be able to visibly see and mirror the data that stays inside there and not leaving your network. Now, to do this complete visibility and to see everything inside your network, wherever it resides, you need a visibility architecture. And that will always start with the tap, the test access point. That will always start there. That is the only 100% way to guarantee you have full visibility inside your network. Your network tap then comes out to a form of aggregation or packet broker layer, a device that is bringing multiple taps together, multiple taps, aggregate them all together, and then presenting that data to those security and monitoring tools in a format and in a method and in a way they want to see them. Because every tool is different. We all need to see things at a slightly different opportunities. And then the last part are those tools. The very last part are those monitoring tools. So whether that's a security tool, whether it's a monitoring tool, the aggregation layer and the packet broker will present the data, the packet, from all of those taps in a method and a way that is needed by those different tools. And those are the layers of visibility we need to move forward. So our network visibility fabric has to be some form of architecture to allow us to handle all these simple things, and in a way of doing that and seeing that data anywhere within your network. So what happens now when we have an OT network rather than an IT network? We now need to think of those different layers, those different segments, and those different ways again. And the way to do that is a data diode tap. A data diode tap will allow you to ensure there is no ingressed data back into your network. So there is only one-way communication. I don't want things coming back from my IT environment back into my OT environment. So by putting a simple data diode tap there, I will be in the position of making our data go in one direction and can 100% guarantee I won't ingest that data back into my network again. And the other way to do this is to eliminate a single point of failure. And one other device we have to do that is a bypass tap. A bypass tap is slightly different in the fact that we're allowing an inline security tool to be in the network and not be a single point of failure within there, by monitoring that bypass tool and allowing the tap to make decisions based on the rules that you put forward to keep the integrity of your network. And that allows me, again, to do multiple things. It allows me to schedule maintenance periods properly. It allows me to do things like sandboxing new code, new software, so I can develop, I can work on a product, test it, and then bring it in when I need to do it. I can daisy chain multiple tools and make rules and actions based on what those multiple different monitoring and security tools are doing at any one device. So the next problem I come to is, where do I start with all this? Because it can seem and it can be very, very complex. I always say to customers, well, we need to start by looking at our network. We need to look at our network. We need to break our network down into different segments, and we need to understand, most importantly, where the flow of traffic is within that network. When we've done that, we can now start to think of how I need to get that 100% visibility inside that network. Once I've done that, I can look at my flows. I've got 100% visibility. I can then now aggregate this data together, and I could start to present it to those wonderful monitoring devices, those security devices that reside to keep your infrastructure fully protected. So that's very simply what it is. The only 100% way to guarantee that your network is protected is to be able to see every bit, byte, and packet within the network, irrespective of the architecture and the network infrastructure. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.